Good morning, everyone. It is a fantastic Monday, April the 5th. In the background, you have a little bit of Cursed Halo. This is actually pulled from my earlier playthrough. I actually didn't quite have the time to record any other side stuff, but Cursed Halo in its own right is a perfectly fine thing to look at. And honestly, this video, or these videos that I do, tend not to be anything that you necessarily need to watch. You just gotta listen to, so it's whatever. Today's, for our question, we have one from Mako GT, or Mako GT. I don't really know how you say it. I'm assuming if you're doing Mako, it's like the Mass Effect flying refrigerator. And so I'm gonna assume it's that, but every time I see the face, it's just the sad doge and it makes me giggle. So it says, the actual question is, how do you make ads so damn funny? Which is a little bit, I don't know, it feels like weird for me to pick for some reason, it feels weird for me to pick a question that's a compliment. So I'm going to try to rephrase that because I don't know, for some reason it feels strange. But more so, I guess I want to talk more about like, how do I do these ads, or like what goes into making ads? Because especially with sponsorships, like what goes into a sponsor? I think it's the thing that a lot of people don't really know much about when they look at YouTubers and the YouTube world. So I thought it would be pretty important to talk about. Obviously, as all of you know, on my main channel, almost every video I have there has some kind of sponsor previously. Either it has a sponsor or it's me, shilling my merchandise or anything of that nature. And the reason you see these so often is that obviously YouTube rewards daily uploads, consistent content. That's its main reward. That's what the thing they like to do the most. And because I don't do that, and because the videos I make tend to take quite a long time to make because green screen, script writing, etc., I need to stick some kind of ad or a sponsor on it to really make up any lost revenue that I used to have when I would do it pretty much daily. The main thing that to think about is that almost every time when a video comes out and gets its views, the sponsor that I try to put on it almost always has maybe 3 to 4 times the amount the video itself will make. This isn't always the case. For instance, the Warhammer videos are doing quite well, the every nutshell one. And that is different. They don't have an ad on them, but obviously they would be doing a lot better than my other ones. But for the standard main channel video, between 100 and 150K, give or take my viewership on it, I try to make sure that the ad revenue I would generate for said video is only about maybe a third or a quarter to what I get from a sponsorship for it. So sponsorships are actually a pretty massive bulk of the main channel income. And so I think it's important to register that because a lot of people, they don't really understand why people put so many ads and stuff, even they get a lot of views. And obviously while views that get higher and higher, and the more views you get on your videos will therefore get you more money from advertisers because the sponsor will pay you more, naturally there's a little bit of a back and forth there. So whenever it comes down to getting an advertiser, I normally get some kind of email brought to my attention or like a message sent to me about any kind of sponsor or offer that someone is going to provide me. And once I get the offer, I will go ahead and haggle with them a little bit. Naturally, whatever offer they give me, I will attempt my very best to get more from them because you should never take the first offer. That's like a business 101. So if they offer me a certain amount of money, I'm going to use like simple things like hundreds just to make it easier. They offer me like $200 to do an ad on like, I don't know, not gamer subs, that's different, that's a commission-based thing, but I don't like the Warby Parker ad that I did recently on the Left 4 Dead video, then, I'll say, no, give me 400, and then hopefully we can solve it at 300, and then, at the end of the day, it works out pretty well than instead of just taking it. Sometimes they don't budge, sometimes they budge quite a bit. It really does depend on what you're trying to go with, but after the haggling is done and finished, the main thing is they always have some kind of contract that you should always read very carefully, and there are deliverables. Deliverables are the concept that, hey, I want 60 seconds of advertising on this video. I want it to cover these points. I want you to talk about this, 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 and this. I want you to make sure you don't talk about this, 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 and this. So if I did like, say, a sponsor for, what are my monitors right now? Asus monitors. They would say, hey, do not mention other monitor brands, do not mention Acer, do not mention any of that stuff, and talk about how the monitors have a great frame, they have so many settings, they look really good, 144 hertz, wahoo. Just simple things like that. Make sure you cover these topics. But also, naturally, they want it to make it as normal, or not as normal, but as natural as you can. And that's where I like to have a lot more fun with it. Now, sometimes I'll just make regular ass ads. Skillshare ads were a big one. They just kind of were normal old advertisements. But when you keep going, there are lots of other ads like the Warby Parker one that I did recently where it's just a complete absolute meme. And the main reason I do that is a lot of times I feel like if I need to sell something that's harder to sell than normal, I'll try to meme it up a little bit more than I can. For instance, a sunglass and eyewear company, well, I mean, obviously plenty of you probably wear glasses, but it's not necessarily the kind of thing, like, you know, when you watch gaming content, you would think that it would be things like headphones and crap, right? But when it comes to something that's more lifestyle, you're not quite sure exactly what they're going to be going for. So because of that, I thought, okay, it'd be a little bit weird maybe to have the video just be like, check out these sunglasses. So I think I'm going to give it a little bit more spice, make it a little bit more exciting. Where on the other hand, the Audible one I did was a pretty standard sponsorship. Hey guys, sponsored by Audible, check it out. And I told you about Warhammer books because that kind of fit really well with me. Like, hey, Warhammer content. This is super simple to go with. It doesn't really take a whole lot of energy to figure that one out. But between all of them and between all of the options for sponsorships, it does depend on how much leeway they give me. One of the reasons, I think some of you may remember a long time ago, I did those Acer laptop sponsorships, and they were just complete fucking memes because they let them be complete absolute memes. One of the reasons that Gamer Supps is something that I really like recently is because they're so okay with putting their stuff on anything. I am literally in the process of making a Subverse review. And for that Subverse review, I'm asked them, hey, Gamer Supps, will you be interested in sponsoring this? And they said, dude, you could be like an amateur porn star. And if you sold enough, we don't care. And that's pretty awesome. Especially because, you know, Subverse is a very big deal in like the advancement of the adult industry. So I think it's pretty fancy to be able, or fancy and fantastic to be able to let someone just go ahead and work with that kind of stuff, you know? And also, especially in this day and age, you know, you get those companies that have such a stick up their ass. They don't want to be associated with, oh no, you know, well, we can put our stuff on the Gears of War video and watch people get their heads blown off. But the moment you mention sex, oh God, that's the devil's work right there. It's really aggravating sometimes. So generally, I'll take a lower amount of money on a sponsor if they just let me do whatever the fuck they want. And I like that about them. There are some sponsors that are a lot more rigid and a lot more do this, 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 and this, and they want it to be a certain way because they don't understand that talking to an audience the way that they normally talk to an audience is more beneficial. And some of them are just like, go and have at it. And sometimes when I get those ones, I'll do it for less money because I get to at least have fun with it, and then it becomes kind of part of the content itself. I mean, hell, for a while, everyone was really hating on Raid Shadow Legends, and I don't like Raid Shadow Legends at all, but no one gave Internet Historian any shit for doing it because his Raid Shadow Legends sponsorships were fucking hilarious. And even though it doesn't make much sense because the moral quandary between the two, but even so, they were so funny, no one cared, right? And then in a weird way, you almost didn't skip it, even though it was in the middle of the video. So it's that kind of stuff, that kind of way about it that I think makes it a little bit more interesting. And it makes it, you know, kind of give me a little bit more elasticity when it comes to choosing the kind of sponsors that I want. Obviously, there's also merchandise and stuff, and that's its own little shindig, which I work on. But, you know, I feel like people who buy merchandise don't really need to see it. They just are like, hey, I'm going to see if Bricky has some merchandise, and then just kind of go in the description or whatever. So anyway, that's really how sponsorships go. Normally, they get paid out in like 30 days to 45 days when things work out really well. Sometimes if I do really well, they'll have me come along again for even more. Sometimes they won't. It all depends. But I like it quite a bit. I like to haggle. I like to work with it. I find it fun. And yeah, thanks for watching. Pleasure having you here. Thanks to my patrons. And I will see you hopefully next week. Bye-bye.